Hey guys,
Just unmuting all the mics. Welcome, Phil. Phil's back on the panel actually this time.
woof! I'm honoured. I'm honoured.
You said Phil on the chat. I can't be arsed, but you can't help yourself, can you?
No, I wasn't going to bother. To be fair, but I feel a bit good. I feel a bit gutted tonight. I don't really think we deserve that.
No, we didn't. But as Matt said on the chat as well, this is like therapy, isn't it, Matt?
It is. It's not good for the soul at all, really, but it keeps you going somehow. It's getting a bit repetitive, though, already, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I know. Also joining us is Nick. Hi, Nick.
Good evening, everyone.
I'm having trouble with my mic and everything here.
Yeah, I can hear a lot of noise from that. Where's your stand gone? Where's your mic stand gone? Oh, well, we'll crack on. We can hear you anyway, Matt. We can all crackling around. Right, so as you've seen on the intro, I flicked up the starting 11. So let's get that back up. There we go. Blackpool lined up as follows. Chris Maxwell, Ollie Turner at right back. This odd centre-half pairing of Marvin Pateta and James Husband again, despite us having recognised centre-backs on the bench, but we'll come to that shortly. Dimitri Mitchell at left-back, MJ Williams, Robson and Ward. The midfield three with CJ Hamilton, Gary Maydane and Ben Woodburn coming in for his debut. So, Phil, obviously you've got a bit of insight on Woodburn coming from where you live. Were you surprised to see him start, and what's your thoughts on that starting 11?
No, I was pleased that he started. I mean, everyone I've spoke to, they all follow Wales and they follow the Wales set up all the way through. You know, they're quite a passionate bunch where I live, and to a man, they've all said that, you know, he's a quality player, and in this league he should basically rip it up. You know, they've all said that he has to play wide left, cutting in on the right, cutting in onto his right, and that's how he started today. And I thought he played pretty well. I just wasn't sure about his fitness. You know, when I saw him starting today, I thought, well, is he going to be match fit, because he's not really played much football.
And I think that was illustrated, wasn't it, on 65 minutes, whatever?
Is that what it was, 65?
Something like that, yeah. About the 65, 70 minutes.
Well, I missed the first 10 minutes or so, and then I thought he looked pretty sharp, and he just looked quick off the ball as well. You know, when he was on the ball, he looked quite quick, and off it as well, he looked quite sharp. You know, he was getting around them and, you know, making things happen a little bit. But like you say, if you're signing players this late on that haven't had any sort of pre-season or any first team football, it's tough. And I think that's where we are at the moment. We're signing so many players that haven't really had a proper pre-season, and I think that showed with Woodburn.
Yeah, I mean, Woodburn, he had our only real chance of the game, didn't he? He
should have.
It was a good chance. He should have at least hit the target, and he kind of snatched it.
Yeah, he should have. I thought he should have done better with that. To be fair, I mean, he did the hard work. He kind of ghosted in between the two defenders and maybe got a little touch on it, and then just lashed it a little bit over the bar. But I thought he played well. Generally, I thought he played quite well. But it's that lack of fitness again, and that kind of panic thing, bringing people in and starting somebody when he's not probably trained that much.
Well, yeah. I think if he's trained all season, he's had a pre-season, he's played first few games, he's more than likely he's going to stick that away, isn't he? It's just a bit of match sharpness you lack, don't you, if you're not playing? Yeah,
quite possibly. But I think as a sign, I think it'd be a very good signing. And like I mentioned earlier, everyone I've spoke to who knows him and watched him, a lot, thinks he's quality, and he will be a very good player in this league. Yeah. But maybe it's a bit early for him, for us. I mean, at the moment, I just feel maybe we need your Medines, and we need you. Even I don't know what's about the Kai today. I didn't see the team. I didn't see the lineup earlier. I just don't know where that kind of experience and that know-how is. It's a little bit, we're just signing players and throwing them in. And I don't know, maybe he would have been better off the bench today. I don't know.
It's a scattergun approach by the looks of it, getting all these players in. I mean, it's something we have touched on the pod previously. So just coming over to you now, Matt. What was your initial thoughts when you saw that starting 11?
I thought the only sort of question mark was Woodburn. If I'm honest, I thought he was going to be pretty much the same 11 that played Crewe. I wasn't surprised that Husband started. I thought he was just thinking he's a left-sided player, so therefore he'll play left back. But other than that, I thought it was pretty much predictable. I think Grant Ward's scoring secured his place. I think he's obviously been one of those that has been fairly inconsistent since the start of the season, but because of that goal, I think he sort of warranted his place. I think dropping Yates down to the bench and given what he did the other week was probably sort of fair enough, really.
Over to you. Go on, Phil. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, this Husband thing at centre half, I kind of thought this was going to happen earlier on. Sort of like, a few weeks ago when he started signing fullbacks, I thought to myself, does a manager see Husband more of a central defender rather than a fullback? Because
he's not, though, is
he? No, he's not. That's clear. Yeah. But I just think the manager thought he probably was, because we've signed Mitchell, which is fair enough. He's an attacking fullback. Then we signed Garbutt, who's virtually the same as Mitchell, but just a little bit older. So maybe the manager just thinks that Husband is a central defender. But I think to last season when he played there, he only really played there when we played a back three or a back five. He's never really played there as in a two. So I just think it was a bit strange playing him there again today.
Yeah, it's just, Nick, it's just odd, isn't it? I mean, let's take out the fact that Husband's done what he's done. That aside, it's just strange. Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? When you've got recognised centre halves sat on the bench, particularly one who's the Northern Ireland international who's pulled up some trees midweek, and he's sat on the bench, and you're playing again with a round peg in a square hole at centre half.
Yeah, and it's not, this isn't with hindsight with what happened after, 55 seconds or something, but I could understand it on Saturday because he'd just come back from, a tough game for Northern Ireland where he was, similar tonight, kept very busy all night. But I did think, having had a bit of a rest and then a couple of days training, that he would have been in either in place of Husband or maybe moving Husband to left back, which is easily his more natural position. And so it proved to be, awful start. I think even before the sending off, they'd nearly got through after pretty much straight from kickoff, and the offside flag went up, thankfully. But then just repeat again, and I think it's one of those, isn't it? He's not made a challenge, but it's poor positional play in the first place to be in that situation. And I think actually it's probably just one of those ones where Bogle's leg has just probably more clipped Husband, really, because you see Husband stumble and it's just a slight touch and he's down, and there's no VAR or anything, is there? And you look at it straight away and just think he's given a red card, and he did do.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point, Nick. I mean, I didn't see it live. I was just coming in and I was just getting my stream on. But when I've seen the replay now, it just looks like he was out of position. He looks probably about a yard the wrong side of where he should have been, of where maybe a recognised central defender would have been. I don't know. If you're playing fullback, it's a bit different. If you're playing in a 2 or playing a 3 or playing the left back of a 4. And
exactly. I think
he's cut him out twice now.
I think everyone is of the same opinion that Husband's fine as a back 3, back 5, but he's been exposed 2 or 3 times in 2 or 3 games and got sent off twice, pretty much identical as well in many respects. Out of position, bad mistake, bad touch, all the things that you could probably get away with at fullback or even the left side of a 3 perhaps. But when you're the central focal point of the heart of defence, you just knackered, aren't you, basically? And what a grim start that was.
So just based on what you've just said, Matt, it's kind of not Husband's fault, really, if you think about it. The finger has to point at the manager for this.
It does, and like I said, I wasn't surprised that he got picked because he saw him as probably a slightly less of a square peg in a round hole than perhaps having 2 right-footed centre halves, and that's the only reason I can think that he thought Husband might be a better fit in there with Ekpiteta. But obviously when Ballard came on, it looked like he'd played there for years. Obviously, he's only 20 years old, and the first thing, we'll talk about him in more detail, I'm sure, but the first thing I noticed about him, which we've severely lacked at the back, is he opens his mouth. He can talk to people, and, as well as looking after his own game, I think it would help the other 2 or 3 at the back as well. So whether he's a right-footed centre-half playing on the left, I think he's obviously improved us, I think, in that instant, but it was just a shame that we had to go down to 10 men to find out.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe that the managers thought that playing Ekpiteta and Ballard, starting them both, they're both young lads. There's not much experience in there, so maybe Husband's a bit of a calmer head.
Yeah, well, that's proven at Southend the other year. Yeah, when he twatted somebody in the middle of the corner flag.
Maybe that's what he's thinking. And let's be honest, we've all commented on the lack of experience and the lack of a strong spine. So maybe defensively, he's thought, well, rather than playing 2 kids together in the middle, the Husband's a better option. But
it's odd, really, though, isn't it, to have that thought process when the rest of the team are full of kids? So
I think it's pressure. I think he's under pressure, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's under pressure now. So I think
absolutely,
if he plays 2 kids and we get beat 4-0, then everyone's going, well, why has he played 2 kids? He plays Husbands, who's been around the block a bit more. We get beat 1-0 and everyone's going, what do you play Husbands for? You can't really win, can you?
Does he get just a 1 match for that? Or is it, he's obviously got sent off twice in the last...
Isn't it dangerous play normally when you're 3 or cynical? I don't know.
I don't know if there's anything for totting up with it being 2 within, I don't know, number of games or not, but yeah, we'll see.
Right,
go on, Phil. Sorry, guys. For me, he has to play left back. He's a left back. I know.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
I know people. I know people have said that he's not an attacking left back. And last season when he played left of a back 3 or a back 5 as a wing back, and I get that because he wasn't really bombing on, but he was much more solid as a left back. And it's got to be where he plays. You've got to play people where they should play in the correct positions.
I think let's look at this comment that's just come in from Douglas Johnson. Husband should never be seen in Tangerine again.
I think Douglas is smoking something really strong there, because I think he's a solid professional footballer who's pretty much done well for us over the last couple of years we've had him.
He's let us down a lot though, Phil, I think.
Why?
For a lot of people, it's the last straw. Well, do you not remember that game where was it when we were cruising and he went in and.
But like you said, Dan, though, is it not more the manager's fault that he's playing him out of position?
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, you said that a couple of minutes ago. You said, well, is it his fault that he's not really his fault, is it? He's a left back. And when he was at Norwich, he was a left back. When he was at Doncaster, he was a left back. For some reason, we think he's a centre half. No, he's not, is he?
No, and I think your point before, Phil, about people saying, he's not an attacking full-back, but then you look at what Mitchell was like in the first 25, 30 minutes. I'd quite happily have a solid defender rather than one of these modern game attacking full-backs. It's all very well flying forward, but you first and foremost, you need to be able to defend, and Mitchell was he was getting absolutely skinned.
Yeah, we were pinned back, weren't we? We were pinned back for that first 20 minutes. That was on the right-hand side for them was very good.
He was his best.
We couldn't get out.
No, it's just ironic, really, that obviously Husband misses at least a game now, and I can imagine that the back four with Husband as a left back with the two centre halves, Ballard and Ekpiteta, and that's about as solid as we're going to ever get, I think, really.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be spectacular. We won't see overlapping fullbacks or anything like that. But given the circumstances, I'd rather we were just solid, And
but this goes back, Matt. But this goes back to what I was saying before that Critchley obviously doesn't rate Husbands as a left back because he wants someone a bit more attacking, a bit more, end product. Which is worrying in itself.
The thing is, for me, Phil, Mitchell, he's crap going forward. I don't know if you've noticed. He's, he's supposed to be an attacking winger, but I noticed on a couple of occasions he's got the ball and he's got the chance to take on the right back, and he's just putting the brakes on and playing a sideways or a backwards pass. I was like, well, come on, go on.
I think we do that as a team, though. I think a lot of times we do that. I've noticed that last few games that there's not many of them who get the ball and run at people. I mean, see, Hamilton does it, and maybe Yates does it a little bit, but there's not many of them that will actually go out and try and take the man on. But is that a confidence thing because we're losing games? And I don't know, but it's a good point. Though I don't feel that any of them really have got the confidence and to express themselves and how they should do.
I mean, we've talked on this pod previously about Craney, Matt, haven't we? I mean, rock solid at the back. Very good going forward, and if you look at Mitchell compared to the likes of Crane, it's just chalk and cheese.
Well, it is, but I mean, the experience between the pair of them is, he's also chalk and cheese. He's a lad who's just pretty much starting out in his career, and even when Craney came to us, he'd previously played at Leeds and Celtic and wherever else, So, vastly different. But this is where we're at, and this is where the head coach has to get the best out of these young players. But one of the fundamentals is that that lad on the right hand side, Doughty, I think he was called for Charlton tonight, quality player, very good player. Never don't know anything about him, I must admit, but he was their best player on the park by a country mile. And I know Mitchell might have sort of contributed to how good he looked, but he was still nevertheless a really good player. And unfortunately, Mitchell just against a better quality player, he just gets found out defensively at the moment, doesn't he?
I think you're right, but I think this goes back again to what we're saying about the manager signing players because he wants to play a certain style of football. He doesn't want a left back being a left back. He wants a left back being like a left winger, and that's why he signed Garber. That's why he signed Mitchell. But fundamentally, if you can't defend and you're playing in the back four, then we're going to have problems, aren't we?
Yep. But then I think Teddy Howe was like that, wasn't he? He looks like an attacking fullback, but doesn't seem to
defend.
And he's not going to get a look in. So it's a bit of a head scratcher, definitely.
It's a strange one because to me, Mitchell just looks like a younger Garbutt to me. They're both decent on the ball. They're both more attacking players who would probably suit more like a wing back role or like a left mid role. But we don't play that system, so it's a bit strange that we've signed two left backs who aren't really left backs as such.
I think when they asked him about Garbutt, because we'd already signed Mitchell, and he basically said it was too good an opportunity to turn down. And it makes you wonder that if he'd have come available earlier, would we have even bothered with Mitchell? It's almost like you're a kid in a sweet shop and you've got to spend your pocket money,
But when you've only got a squad of so many players that you can take, though, it's a bit of a bit of a silly one, really. If you just say,
Mm.
I mean, we've got 3 left backs now, haven't we? Who are all, no, any of them 3 could play on any given day. You wouldn't probably know who the best one was.
No, and you wonder about letting. I thought McDonald looked okay.
We've all
Yeah.
said this
in the time he played for us, but
I think he looked better in the fight. I think he looked better when we had 3 centre halves on, Nick. To be fair, I mean,
yeah.
I went to Reading away in the cup, and he played as a left back that day, and I think he got a bit of a roasting, as a left back.
Well, that's something that we've also said, isn't it? That the way these fullbacks are brought up into the game, these young lads nowadays, they're all wing backs. They're not defensive-minded sort of fullbacks, and they would suit. Exactly, but they would suit a third centre half arrangement. But obviously, Critchley's not going to play that. He's been brought up with 4-3-3 himself, so that's not going to happen, is it?
No, it's not, and maybe we do need to change, but I just can't see the manager changing that system. I think which is in a way, okay, yeah, he's stubborn on that, and that's the way he thinks we should play, and I think he's going to continue doing that. But I just think some of the signs are questionable, especially now.
Yeah,
it's not like it used to be where you can send as many players as you want. And you've got, you don't have to have so many people in the squad, and you only allow, was it 22 pros, and under 21s don't count or whatever it is. And we just seem to be stockpiling certain positions.
Got a few comments coming in there. Agreeing with what you've said there, Phil McBirdle. Agree. He's wasted money on piss-poor players. Andy Porter says seems a bit like Football Manager approach to sign him.
Yeah.
He's available.
I used to love a bit of Football Manager. You take over a new club, you get rid of all your players, and you bring about 20 in. That's what we've done.
Hayden says any of them as good as Callum McDonald? I think he's saying
it's a question. Like we were just asking, are any of them?
I think that's a bit of a harsh one. I mean, I thought he was okay, but again, he's a young lad who was making his way in a game. McDonald. He played better in a 5 than he did in a 4. So I don't think he was necessarily the answer. But having 3 left backs now, and we don't know who the best one is.
It's worrying, Phil. It's worrying. Right, let's get back to the game. So we kind of held our own, didn't we, when we were down to 10 men? We reorganised. Grant Ward came off, replaced by what's his name, Ballard. So we looked tidy, didn't we? We didn't look under threat. We handled Charlton very well. And
we did. Yeah,
we were given a lifeline on 39 minutes. A great piece of work from CJ Hamilton down the right-hand side. He's got at least 5 yards to make up on the left back. He's gone past him, and Purrington has quite happily wrestled CJ to the ground and made honours even. I think it was an easy decision for the ref to make.
It was, and a couple of us called it on the chat as soon as, because the first yellow he got, he did the same thing. He knocked it a good 5 yards past the lad, and if it had been anybody else, you just think, oh, what are you playing at? But he's so quick. He puts the afterburners on. He's got ahead of him, and he brings him down, and it's a yellow. And I just said, a couple of us said at the same time on the chat, he needs to keep doing that because it's a second yellow for the lad, because he's either got to just let him go or bring him down because he can't keep up with him. And it proved to be the case. And at that point, because like you say, you go 1-0. You go to 10 men after 54 seconds, and you're thinking, "Oh, here we go." We actually recovered well, and we're looking okay. And then when that happens, and you think, right, it's evened up. Second half, let's go for it. And can we get the win? Because I think psychologically, then for us going in at half time, it's a real boost, isn't it? But it didn't prove to be, unfortunately.
I just thought as well they looked a little bit fitter than us. I mean, I said it on the chat that I think even when they went down to 10, they seemed to have a little bit more spring in the step than what we did, and we just seemed to be chasing the ball a bit more. And I thought 10 against 10, we should have imposed ourselves on the game a bit more, but we were still on the back foot. I thought Watson in midfield for them just controlled it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Again, it's another team who come and they've got that one or two players who've just got that experience, that difference.
Yeah, that Lincoln with with
well, we say it every week, don't we?
League One know-how, isn't it? League One know-how.
And it's the difference.
Lincoln had Bridcut, didn't he? Ipswich had a couple of them in there. That Bishop played well for them in centre mid, and we just don't seem to have that kind of control there, that experience in there. I thought he was the best player on the pitch today, that Watson for them. I thought he was quality today.
Yeah, he was a decent player. And the balls into the box as well, not just again, terrible delivery of set pieces or crosses
Nick.
into the
I've already got that for you there. There you go.
Yeah. And theirs was so much better, as proved, for the goal. We just, I don't know, the amount of times we can't beat the first man, or we're floating a free kick in and it's just going straight over everybody's head and out of play. And especially when you go,
we're not a big team, are we, Nick? We're not a big team.
We're not, but I think you need to give yourself a chance for someone to get on the end of something at least, particularly when you're sticking your centre half forward for a corner. It's and especially when it's a game like that, and that's probably where our best chance is going to come from. Or when we're down to 10 men, it's even more important to get that delivery right. And I don't know. We talked about it last week, didn't we? Are we working on it on the training ground?
Doesn't look like
it. I don't know. Well, it's not working if we are. That's for sure.
You looked at them in the second half when they put that big lad on, the one who scored the goal. The set pieces, every time they got a corner, you thought, "Ooh, we might concede here," because they just look a lot bigger than us in the box, didn't they?
They did. He was a unit. I mean, Ballard had his hands full with him, didn't he? Definitely.
He played well, by the way.
I mean, Phil, we've never had any moments like that where we've gone, but that's facing us multiple times, game after game, where we're thinking, bloody hell, that could have gone in, or that was close, but it's never for us. And it's just the delivery. It's the delivery. Why aren't they working on this delivery into the box?
I don't think it's just the delivery from set pieces either. I think because we're playing inverted wingers, we don't really get crosses into the box either. So if you're playing Medine, who has thrived off crosses all his career.
What do you mean by inverted wingers, Phil? Can you explain that? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we play a right-footed left forward, left-footed right forward. So every time they get the ball, they're cutting inside. So your crosses aren't as quick.
Okay, right.
They're not coming in as quick. They're cutting back all the time. So that's fine if
there's no element of surprise. Getting an early ball in.
No, because if you're a fullback and you know that the guy you're against is going to cut inside you every time, it's easy, isn't it? It's easy to defend against. And when you've got Medine playing as a central striker, he thrives off crosses, but we don't cross it to him because every time Hamilton or Woodburn today, they're cutting inside all the time because that's the natural foot. It's just what they do. So I'd like to see him stop around a little bit and change it around so you've got a little bit more, a little bit more going on. And why don't you swap that front three over? Well, okay, Medine can stay where he is, but swap your two wide men over so at least you can get to the byline and get a good old-fashioned crossover to your big number 9. But we don't seem to do it.
No, we said that after the Crew game. We said that after the Crew game as well, and it's just been too predictable, like you say.
Yeah,
and
predictable. Yeah.
That it's easy to manage, and I know that obviously Hamilton started well tonight. In terms of getting past the guy and obviously getting him sent off and all the rest of it. But strangely enough, after that, he sort of disappeared again. But as Bisons has just alluded to, the passing was poor tonight. I thought our ball retention and our ability to pass the ball, it seems to have just gone 3 or 4 steps backwards. We, the first couple of games of the season, we thought, okay, we're passing the ball well and keeping it, and we're not maybe going very far in a penetrative sort of way. But tonight we just didn't look after the ball as well as we should be able to.
I think we used a lot of efforts, a lot of energy in that first half an hour when you 10 men, and we were chasing the ball a little bit. So when we did have it, you're right, we didn't keep it. I think when you've got 10 men, I just don't think it's that easy. And they've got an experienced midfield. I mean, they started off with three centre midfielders who've all played in the Premier League. I mean, Watson's won the FA Cup, didn't he? He scored a winner against Man City. They've got experienced players in there. And we were chasing shadows a little bit. But I think that's a bit. So I think that's more of a confidence thing where you're up against it, and your instinct isn't really to keep it as much as you should do. But I think Critchley's always said he wants possession-based play. I think when you're losing games, maybe the players start doubting it a little bit. And thinking,
and like you say, just sort of rush through the passing sort of process as a result of that, or as a consequence of that. Yeah, I get that.
Put the wrong comment up there. This is what I meant to say. The dead balls, this is a Mac thing. The dead balls are consistently terrible, Phil, and 0 early balls in from Medine or Yates ever. Early ball, it goes on. It's what's it you call it, an inverted winger. That's you don't get in early balls, do you? That's always a way to unsettle a defence, isn't it? Early balls into the box.
Yeah, exactly. You think of what he set us up like what Liverpool do, though. Salah's left foot, he's all left foot, but he plays on the right. Mane's right foot, he plays on the left. But they swap, and Firmino comes deep. That's how he kind of started setting us up. But they all switch over as well. They play all over the front line. They all play over the front line. Oh, hello.
Oh, hi, Drew. Star of the show is back.
You know what? He's not even watched it tonight. He can go away. He's not even watched the game tonight.
As 0-0's go, it wasn't a bad game, really, was it?
No, it was okay.
It was 1-0 in the end. As up to the 5 minutes.
Yeah, so they're going back to that inverted thing. So I think he's copied it on what Liverpool do, but they switch around as well. They're always moving, aren't they? And we don't move. Whoever plays wide left for us kind of stays wide left, plays wide right, stays wide right, and then they both cut in onto the strong foot. It just doesn't make any sense in a way. And it'd make more sense if you had a small man in the middle, like a Yates or I don't know, even like a Hardy or someone else who we had. But when you've got Medine there, he needs balls into the box quickly.
Yeah. He needs a Feeney playing with him, doesn't he?
Of course he does, yeah. I think you made that point before. I mean, last season we scored that many goals from Feeney getting wide, crossing it to the big man. And we don't. I'm not saying we need to go route one like that, but at least swap it around a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think I said I was a big fan of Feeney, Phil, and I said this on the podcast, and quite a few people shot me down, saying, "No, it's not the way of playing." But you need that out ball in this division. You need a plan B. You need balls into the box, and it's proven to be the case. Tim's here. Hello, Tim. How are you doing?
Evening.
You're looking very relaxed in your casual evening wear there, Tim.
Still got my work suit on.
Right, Tim, what did you think of that then?
It was bitterly disappointing, wasn't it, the way it ended up? I thought in the second half, and ironically, until we made the substitutions, we were the better side. But I think those substitutions worked against us. I thought Yates didn't have the presence that Medine has, and Labala was very poor. I know that was sort of forced on us a bit, but I don't know why Kemp doesn't get a look in at all. I know we've spoken about this previously, but for me, Labala hasn't done enough to justify the faith that seems to be shown in him, and I think we should be looking at other options when those type of opportunities present themselves. You know, where we've probably only got 1 or 2 people to choose from for the bench. It never seems to be him, and if you analyse the game, at the end of the day, I don't recall us having a shot on target, and if we did, it didn't test the keeper, and you're never ever going to win games with those type of statistics.
I mean, the only chance I remember was Woodburn. That's the only kind of shot where we've.
Yeah, well, that was over the bar, wasn't it?
Yeah, like you say, your brother's famous comment, "Hit the target," didn't prove to be the case. So
no. So obviously, I know I've sort of dipped in and out a little bit of what you were talking about before, so I don't want to cover old ground. But you know, in fact, I got collared to go on Radio Lancs, and the point that was being made on there by Brett and myself was that there's just not enough leaders on the pitch. And if you know, and if you look at the team man for man last season and this season, the players who would grind out a result for you when you needed it just aren't there. You know, we went very flat for me, particularly after they scored. It was like we didn't have any belief that we could get back into the game. Yeah. Where in other games, when we've gone one down, you've had various players, the likes of Spearing, who grabbed players by the scruff of the neck and the team by the scruff of the neck and pushed them on to try and get something. I don't necessarily disagree with letting them go this year, but we need somebody who's going to replicate what he did and replicate what a lot of the other senior pros did. And that's what we need. And I think we still need some experience on the bench as well. Someone like Brabin, actually, I was just mentioned on the on our little WhatsApp group we have going during the game. Brabin, when we came in, he was fearsome in that dressing room, and all the players respected him. And sometimes you need someone to play a bad cop to the good cop, and I don't know whether we've quite got that in that dressing room at the moment.
I think that's a good point. Sorry, Tim. I think that's a good point. I think not only are we lacking leaders on the pitch, we're also lacking leaders in the dugout as well. And I think that's been evident all season, really. That can you imagine Andy Morrison or someone like that? I mean, we watch a little bit of Welsh football, and we see Andy Morrison with Connors Key. It's the first time they won the league last year. You've got Andy Morrison shouting at them from the sidelines, and we just seem a little bit quiet, don't we? A little bit nicey.
It's what when I spoke to Charlie, Phil at Pillfoot Farm, he said Critchley won't have any senior pros around because it's questionable whether he can handle carrots. And Charlie said after that debacle against what was it?
Ipswich.
Yeah. He said the senior pros would have been in the dressing room, they'd have been raging, they'd have been saying things, and he reckons that just doesn't happen in that dressing room because they're all a bit wet behind the ears, aren't they, all these young players?
Yeah, you look at our squad now. You've got the captain, I think it's Maxwell as a keeper. I mean, I don't like keepers being captains at the best of times. I mean, I think
Tim says that.
Even when England had Peter Shilton, we were crap. I know Italy won the World Cup with Dino's off, but I mean, it's very rare to have a captain as a keeper. Then we've got Turton, maybe Husband, and probably Medine, who are most experienced players. So we're just lacking that experience across the board, really, in that squad. And like Tim said before, sorry, about the dugout as well. I mean, you've got two youth coaches in there, and they both and Critchley seems very stubborn about how he wants to play, and that's his system. He's not going to change that system. And like you said, John, as well, he doesn't want that experienced leaders in there. It's worrying.
Right, Steve H has made a decent comment here, so he's asking the panel what do the panel think next? Where do we go from here? Matt, over to you for this.
Well, I think if this was a poker game, we're all in with Critchley, aren't we? That's where we're at, and that's where we go with him. We stick with him. We've got this very young, naive squad at the moment, it would seem, and I think we've just got to hope that he can turn them around into a bit more of a competitive animal, really. At the moment, we're just getting our tummies tickled every week. We're making mistakes every week. We're not penetrative enough in the final third. There's just not a lot of positives, unfortunately. There's individual players that I can see they're improving. One or two players. I think Marvin's improved every week, if I'm honest. I know he looks like he's potentially still got a mistake in him, but I think he's getting better every week. I think Williams coming in has helped that midfield a wee bit.
I thought William was good today.
But you're talking small things. You're not talking major things. And these small things are obviously going to happen sort of incrementally over a week-by-week basis. How much time we've got to do that remains to be seen. I was on a different chat tonight and somebody told me, I think I put on at the time, and I don't know whether we still are, if we're bottom of the league or not.
23rd.
So we're in second bottom of the league then, which is exactly where we were when we got promoted under Steve McMahon. And so let's hope we win 4-1 away next game, because we've got little else to sort of cling on to at the moment. But as I said, we're all in with Critchley. We're all in with this plan, and that's where we are. We've got to stick with it. It'll be difficult. It's easier to flick a switch at home and not watch it as it is to sort of walk away from a football ground. But it's going to be very difficult for the next few weeks if we don't get a win in the next couple of games, I think.
Nick, where do we go from here?
Similar to Matt, there's no point in potting him now, because if we've got all these players in, and if we get, a lot of them are on decent contracts as well, a 2+1. And then if you get to January, if you pot him, what do? Then try and sell them all and bring another 15 players in the January transfer window, and then they've all got to bed in again. You're almost writing your season off then. So I think for the time being, we've got to stick with it. Try and get a settled 11, whatever that may be. I think we've seen Ballard is a positive, definitely. So you'd expect him now to be cementing his place at centre half, whether that's going to be alongside Marvin or the Icelandic lad when he gets fit. We've got the lad from Barnsley when he's up to fitness to come in, who'll hopefully add something. Yeah, but beyond that, I don't. There's only so much, isn't there, with the players we've got. We've got them now. We're stuck with them, so there's not too much we can do between now and the transfer window. And then you've got to get them out to bring some in.
Bison says, Phil, there is nothing to be happy about. Do you concur with that point of view?
Yeah, I do. And you know what, mate? I was just thinking, and Jude just said to me then, what's happened to the Icelandic guy? And I was just about to tell him that he's not used to playing on grass, and he wouldn't believe me if I told him that. But that's what Critchley said. He's not used to playing on grass.
What?
They play on artificial pitches, don't they?
I was going to say, they play on snow.
They play on 3G. They play on 3G. He's not used to playing on grass, and that's what Critchley said.
Did he?
He said, "Oh, it's going to take him a few weeks to get up to speed." And
Sign him then.
So we signed a guy who's played international football, but he's not played on grass for months. So what's the point?
No.
Tim, do you agree? Do you agree with that?
I've just you got to chuckle, haven't you? I mean, we only seem to sign players who need about a month to get fit. I mean, it's the same. We've got Dougal or Dougal, however you meant to pronounce it, and he's not. No sign of him. No sign of Gretterson. No. Obviously Ballard's coming today, but only started and probably got a game because of the sending off. And he's come straight in and looked very, very comfortable. I think for me, two things: we need to start playing round pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes. That's basics. And we've got to find who in that team has got the ability to step up to the plate and be captain, and do it properly, and encourage, and get them to take some. I don't know who it could be. I don't know whether it could be Robson or whether one of these new guys coming in could do it. But at the moment, I don't. Obviously, it can't be Husband because he's too much of a liability. He's going to be missing too many games. We've got to have that spine in the side now, and linked to that probably we need that somebody with some spine in the dressing room as well. And that's not a criticism of Critchley itself. It needs someone who I think the players are scared of. And it's that Morrison, Brabin style, character in the dressing room who they just don't mess around with, and they listen to and they respect, and gives the flip side of the playing pretty football and whatever. You need someone sometimes who said, you've got to be a bit physical, you've got to be, put yourself about a bit, and I don't suppose that features much in our team talks at the moment.
Yeah, you do need a little bit of a fear factor, don't you? Really, I mean, we haven't got that, have we? We haven't got anybody on the pitch who's going to shout at people and get them doing the right things, and definitely not in the dugout either. Like you said before about Andy Morrison, I remember a quick story when my little one, not this one, his little brother was at Connors Key Nomads Academy, and every time Andy Morrison would walk into the clubhouse, everybody would be quiet. They'd go shit scared of it. And these look at him, all the kids are like. It's like it's the devil. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but it's a fear factor there, isn't it? And if you're playing for someone like that who's going to bollock you if you've done something wrong, it makes a difference.
None of that at the club, though, is there? There's
nothing like that. Nothing like that. And that's top to bottom as well. It's all a bit nice, a bit too nice.
Not like.
It's just too nice.
Okay, so man of the match. This should be interesting. Who wants to go first?
Ballard.
Tim? Oh, hang on, you're muted, Tim. Hang on. Sorry.
Ballard.
Tim. Ballard. Phil.
Williams.
Matt.
Crikey.
It's like last week,
isn't it? Oh God,
do I have to?
I'm going to say Marv. Actually, I think he did all right tonight. He didn't put much of a foot wrong. So I'll go for Marv.
I'm going to go for Williams myself. I think he had a
I thought so.
A decent game. Have an all-action display in midfield.
Not bad for a League One average donkey, eh, John Williams? Your comment from Saturday.
Swiftly moving. No, I didn't say
when
that.
I was saying he did pretty well, and I think he could make a difference.
Swiftly moving on to the league table. Swiftly moving on to the right. Where's the mute button? Mute. There we go. Whatever. It's my stream. I've muted him. I never said that. Listeners, Nick is now flicking the V's from his little vantage position there. So swiftly moving on to the league table. So let's bring that up. 23rd. Keep it down in the back, please. 23rd. I'm gonna have to mute him. There you go. 23rd, gents. It's not good reading, is it? Played 7, won 1, drawn 1, lost 5, goals for 6, goals against 12. Not good at all.
No, it isn't.
No.
And I mean, who's it? Who we got up Saturday? Is it Wimbledon or MK Dons?
Is it MK? I think it's MK, isn't it? So where are they?
So
22nd.
Just above us.
Point already.
It is already.
A relegation battle. Yeah.
Who'd have thought that when we were 2-0 up away at Anfield? We're now staring relegation down the face. Comment that's coming in there. There we go. I wonder what Simon Sadler's take on the current situation is. Tim, you probably know him more than anyone else. What do you think he's thinking?
I mean, he's naturally going to be disappointed, isn't he? Because the one thing that you cannot criticise is the support that he's provided to the club, both on and off the pitch, in what is an unprecedentedly difficult time with very few income streams. So, we're seeing progress most certainly off the pitch in relation to facilities, and that's continuing. And he will have been expecting it on the pitch as well. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the man's put his money where his mouth is. He has clearly invested a lot of trust in the people he's put in there, and he'll be looking for a return on that. But I think Matt's comment earlier is a very good analogy. He's put his chips in, I think, with Critchley, and I don't see him making any rash decisions. I expect him to stand by him, and hopefully it's going to come good. But I do think we need to look at that captain issue and the background, and somebody in the background who can. I think we look so naive sometimes, and again, I look at when we made the subs and Labala come on. I just don't think we've really thought about who's coming on. I think it's almost like he already knows, and I think sometimes you've got to look at the game and how you want to change the game, and we went worse after our two subs.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Now that nobody's a mind reader, but we seem I don't see any of our subs at all this season having had a significant influence. I mean, Ballard excepted, because effectively he's played the full game, hasn't he? But I don't see many of our subs. I can't recall any of our subs coming on and having a worldie. We need them to be influencing the games when they come on. So but Simon's going to be very, very disappointed, because he wears his heart on his sleeve, and for somebody to do what he's done from across the world is an unbelievable commitment, and he won't like looking at that league table. I know that.
I think, just looking at some of these comments now, but I think the point Tim's made there about the lack of a captain, I mean, it's something I've been banging on about for ages now, that we don't have a natural captain, do we? We don't have a leader in that team. And when it's against you, you need someone to pick everybody up, and you need someone to have them qualities, that mental strength. And we don't have it. I mean, let's be honest. We went one down, and we all knew we weren't getting back in that game.
Yeah.
We all said the same thing at Gillingham away. As soon as they went in front, that was it. It was game over, wasn't it? We knew we weren't getting back in it. And that's the worrying thing for me, that we just don't look like, when we go behind. Crewe got a draw, but I just don't think we look like we've got anybody to pull them up by the bootlaces. And we're probably too late as well. Sorry, Nick. I'm just going to finish off. I was say, and we're too late now to bring somebody in. The window's closed, unless you bring in someone who's out of contract, who's clocking on a little bit. But you wouldn't do that and then make him captain straight away anyway. So we're kind of
He'll need,
stuck.
whoever it is, he'll need a month to get fit anyway. So
Oh, yeah.
I think as well on the experience thing, even things like there was a foul on somebody. It might have been Medine, I think, got wiped out or somebody did. And there's nobody in the ref's face. There's nobody calling him and saying, come on.
That was a booking. How was that not a booking?
It's just all too nice.
What you want like 10 Italians waving cards in his face, don't you?
Well, maybe not that, but somebody at least, stepping up. And every other team does it, don't they? Again, it's it's the manager on the touchline. And it's annoying to see it when it's the opposition. It riles you, but
it works, though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Too soft. I had this argument with somebody on the message board the other day about this, saying, "Would you like us to cheat to get results?" Yeah, damn right I would. You know what I mean?
That's not like you, Phil, to have arguments with people on the message board.
No, but seriously, though, you got to have some sort of, you got to have like a bit of game management. Yeah, you need to. Not everybody else does it.
Of course you do. You need to mix it up.
We don't. We're just like, yeah, okay.
We're playing like we're an under-23 academy team in League One.
But do you know what, as well? I don't think we actually played that bad today. I know all we've done is criticise, to be fair, but I don't think we were that bad today. I mean, we were nowhere near as bad as we were against Ipswich or Gillingham. I just think we had a little bit of bad luck at times, and 10 men for most of the game. I don't think we were that bad.
It could have gone either way, the game, really, couldn't it?
It could have gone either way. But I just couldn't see us scoring either. I know we were being positive on the chat, thinking we're going to nick one and what have you, but we didn't really look like scoring, did we?
No, I think we deserved a point, but we didn't, like you say, we didn't do anything, I think, to deserve all three. And again, they've just got that little bit of quality, haven't they, where ball into the box and we get undone again, and that's what we're missing. Again, it's that bit of experience, that bit of nous, take your chance. But it's a similar story every week, isn't it?
Craig Bean just left us a comment. Labar didn't win a single header even when unchallenged. And the thing that stuck out for me with Labala was when he broke down on the left and he had a chance to get a shot away early, and he just delayed, and just got tackled. Why not just have a pop?
I'll be honest with you, he looks awful.
He's terrible.
Look awful. He looks awful. For me, he looks miles away from what we need.
He keeps picking him, doesn't he? He keeps picking him. Keeps bringing him off the bench.
I think he started twice this season as well. I think.
He started a lot. Yeah, he's come off the bench.
He started as an inverted wide man, John. He started twice as an inverted wide man.
I'm going to use that inverted wide man.
Again, so you're playing someone like him on the left, like when he started the other week, and he just, what's the point? He just cuts inside onto his right foot all the time. You can't go the other way. So it's easy to defend against.
And your left wing back's rubbish as well. So it's like zero outlet from down the left hand side.
Yeah, there you go. No crosses in the box. No point playing Medine. I might want Medine to play, but no point playing him if you're not going to get balls into the box.
Yeah. Right, I think we're done, aren't we? Anyone else got anything else to say? They want to say?
3-0 win on Saturday.
Yeah, we've got MK Dons coming up, so that's a reason to be positive, I suppose. 1 point above us in the league. They concede a hell of a lot of goals, but we don't score many either. So I
think if we lose on Saturday, God, it'll be. Do
you think if there'd be fans in the ground, Nick? Do you think if we'd get beaten by MK Dons, there would be rumblings against the manager? Or
I think there probably will be. I think tonight, probably not, because I think it was a better performance tonight, and we battled. You could see that. But yeah, I think if we had a poor performance against MK and got beat, then yeah, I think there'd be some booing going on. And I think going back to the point about what Sadler will do, he might make that decision, not to get rid of Critchley, but to bring that experienced guy in. I think he'll do that before he pots him.
I can't see it, Nick. I just think it's undermining. It's undermining the Critchley, and it's also making it look like you've kind of not done the right thing to start off with. I just can't see it happening. I think we're just going to carry on with it and hope it works out.
Do you think that, Phil? Yeah. Do you think we're just going to carry on down this road? Yeah, and not.
Yeah, I do. I don't see. If you're Critchley now, and the chairman who's bought into what obviously Critchley sold a dream. He sold what he wants to do. He wants to play whatever the Blackpool way is that Ben said. But he wants this style of football, and they're all bought into it. So they're not gonna change that now, are they? Because it just looks like they've all failed.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's another
mission of failure.
Yeah, it's a mission of failure. That's the words I was looking for. Yeah.
So they bring somebody in now. Can you imagine bringing Neil Warnock in now or someone like that to sit above Critchley? Can you imagine that?
You need to get Sam Allardyce in. What's he up to these days?
Well, that's what I mean. But it probably would make a difference. But it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know. They'll leave it. I mean, if we get to Christmas, bottom three, do you think he would? He'll carry on. Do you think he'll go in the season, or he'll wield the axe at that point?
I think personally, I personally think Christmas. I mean, like Bison's just put there saying, it won't carry on.
Yeah.
I think he's probably got to about Christmas time. But like I think it was Matt said earlier, if you got rid of him and somebody else came in, they're not his players. You're kind of stuck with what you've got a little bit, and you don't really have much time then to get that. Every manager wants his own team and wants his own players, people he can trust. So I said that last week. I think we're just stuck with him now, and then we got to get on with it.
Right, I think that's it, isn't it? We're just stuck with him. I think that's
the theme. I think that's a common theme now. We're just stuck with him. And to think as well, you four were really positive about him starting as well, weren't you? I remember some of these comments from you guys as well. That how
it's not over yet, Bill.
What do we know?
Yeah,
I've got the voice of reason on now, anyway.
Right, I'm already in a darkened room. I need to have a lie down. So
there we go.
We're just stuck with him.
I think that's a good quote to leave this episode on. I think
he's the most qualified coach in the world, but we're just stuck with him.
So I normally put when I release this as an audio podcast, I do normally put a title that we pick out of the air, but I think we'll call this episode "We're Just Stuck with Him."
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
We'll revisit it when we get promoted at the end of the season. So, do you remember this? Guy was stuck with.
All joking aside, though, but you can't. I just can't see how we're going to improve. I don't want to be really. I don't want to end the show on a negative, but we've got no lead. We've got no leaders. We've got no spine. We've got no goal threat. We can't defend.
We've got Ballard
going up.
We've got Ballard. That's the first part of a spine.
We've got to hope that Dougal, and our Viking are going to make a difference, because Phil is right. You can't see that forward line scoring regularly, can you?
How many goals have we scored? 5, 6.
The problem is, Tim, Dougal's not played football for 6 months, and the Viking can't play on grass, so we're not going to win.
Better off with Dougal from the Magic Roundabout, I think.
We're doomed.
Have him running around in the middle of the
park. We need some
roundabout tune.
I'm going to say, I think that was some sort of drug-related euphemism, that programme. And I think that's probably the best way to end it.
We're stuck with him.
Right, I'm gonna play the outro music now. I think we've all said enough for this evening. So, if you've enjoyed this content, please do like this video and also subscribe. So it helps us get the word out there. We're trying to grow a bit on YouTube. So if we get to 1,000 subscribers, we can do more apparently on it. So I'm hoping to hit that by Christmas. So please do like, please do subscribe. Thanks a lot, Phil, for coming on. It's been a laugh.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Tim.
No problem.
Thank
What's
you.
your name again? Nick. I know who muted you.
pleasure.
Right. So stay tuned to T-Siders podcast. Listen to Sam on Fridays. He'll be previewing the Milton Keynes Dons on Saturday. Hopefully we're getting a win there. So all remains to be said is thanks for watching. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening. And up the pool.
Up the pool.
Up the pool.
And we're stuck with him.
All is already Well, it's already changed the world. A small town from the north of England with a great tradition.